I've been excited to talk about this all day, and yesterday's podcast sucked. So if you agree with me, thank you. If you don't agree with me, also thank you. And I don't think we need to get too metaphysical about it. I think it gave me a little bit of focus as far as what to try and continue to do going forward. So, in that sense, I'm glad it was crappy. Either way, it stinks and I don't like it. Moving on from it, do you remember like when you were much younger? It's maybe dating myself here, and you would like say that sucked or you suck. You got in trouble for saying that. Ah, how far language has come. Um, there you go. It also reminded me of something buddy of mine, Connor Murphy, shared with me recently. I think after he listened to the one of the podcasts I talked about when you're working out and you go and get chalk, it's basically a conscious decision to lose. He said a friend of his, well, a friend of ours actually, told him that that's referred to as the focal turning point. And I thought this was a really interesting phrase for it. I haven't like looked up focal turning point too much, but when I've been teaching inside of the CrossFit gym and we'll do things like the open, or getting people ready for a competition. There have been a couple times like outside of regular classes, we'll do like right now we're going through like a rowing class, and we'll go. Which reminds me, I got to send out some paces for tomorrow's rowing class. Don't let me forget to do that. Or like teaching like an endurance class or like a class to prep for the open. I run into a handful of people who talk about and reflect on like their own mental toughness, mentally weak, blah blah blah. And I think this is an important self reflection to have. And there's lots of experts out there talking about this. And I just think one of the things about improving your mental game is your discipline. And that's a really wonderful catchphrase or term. But and by discipline, I mean like focusing on like a singular or at most two things as you're working toward a final goal. And that's like most of the endurance events that I've been involved in or seen other people do. It's really just an exercise. Physically impressive for sure. Mentally impressive as yes as well. But I think to start to wrap your head around it, it's just an exercise in discipline and either staying focused on a singular thing or focused on the singular nearest thing. Maybe that oversimplifies it, but that can really help. And I think if, when you're in a workout, there's so much going on, the chalk can be a distraction. What's the next right thing that you can do to keep moving? So for those of you out there struggling with the open, like what's like just the next single step you can focus on? And then avoid that focal turning point where you get like, ooh, piece of candy. You get distracted. And then I was on Instagram today where I get most of my life advice. And I saw a post by a coach on there, a CrossFit coach that I know. And it said, we're approaching New Year's, and I didn't really read too much of the caption of the post. I probably should have. But sometimes this person posts like this. The picture was just like a screenshot of some text. And it said, real G's move in silence like lasagna. Little Wayne, hard Little Wayne bar right there. And I think the caption was really about like kind of again staying focused on your goals, maybe not broadcasting them to the world all the time, especially until you've had like some level of achievement at them, maybe sharing with a few close friends. And this is something I've heard a couple times from people, not that people have told me, not many people have ever told me real G's move in silence like lasagna. That would be cool if that was like my third grade teacher, Miss Turlick, hit me with that. I probably would have blown my mind back then. Maybe it would have helped my alternate reality self achieve my dream of being an MC. But I was reading into this after the fact, and I think it's really good advice that sharing your goals, I think is really good. Like there's some positivity to it. It's aspirational. But I think it's easy to get stuck in the habit of always like sharing goals in the sense of like, I want to do X, Y, and Z, or I'm going to do this. Here's the next thing I'm going to do, because you get a little You get like a little tickle from that. You get a little reward satisfaction, I think, from sharing the goals out there, especially if you're sharing them a lot and people around you start giving you praise for it, applause for it. So I'm not saying shut up and keep your goals to yourself. But I am saying sort out what goals you have shared with others and how well you've been able to move toward them. And if you're finding yourself always sharing goals but not moving toward them, maybe something to look at. You got to be a real G. Eat some lasagna. And then the day wrapped out with a little question on Instagram. Somebody shared with me or asked me, what programming do I follow? They said they'd been following like some of the workouts I post on my Instagram. So I'm sorry to this person. And I follow kind of what my gym does, CrossFit Mafia, but I also do a lot of my own programming. And I just wanted to share, it reminded me of some advice. Not advice, something Rich said once when I was training and competing down at the CrossFit Mayhem Empire. I think we were like talking about, who coaches him. And he said Rich Froning coaches Rich Froning. And this was somewhat in jest because we had a swimming coach, we had a running coach. But that was a great line. Yeah, I like making up my own programming. I know a lot of people out there really love having just that thing already written down so they know exactly what they're doing and there's no thought process involved. That's actually one of the reasons I do like going into class on a regular basis. It's nice just to like shut off and have the coach take the wheel. But I really enjoy programming for myself. And I'm just a lifetime cherry picker. And especially as I get older, I'm just way more of a grump about programming. There's like certain movements like I could be cool with never doing again. And I won't share those out because I don't want to take away the dreams of the kids out there. If there's movements you like doing, I don't want to crap all over them. Don't want to yuck your yum. So I do a lot of my own programming. Check it out. Or not. Last things last. I was cleaning out my notes, end of the year, getting ready for the new year, new year, new me. And I just saw this one thing I had written on my notepad, and it just said, don't be a fucking loser. I was like, and the rest of the notepad was like constructive work-related stuff, but just at the top, don't be a fucking loser. And man, this is something I have such a hard time with. I was, and this would be a cool thing to talk about in longer form context, but just my like attitude toward winning and losing. And I don't think there's anyone out there who's like happy to lose. I think sometimes winning or trying to get your first win or multiple wins, whatever that means, win, can be scary because on the other side of it is like, how do I get the second one? How do I know if I, I really contributed to the win? Was it luck and all that stuff? But I was really thinking about why sometimes I kind of get so hard on myself with this mentality of like, it's really important not to be like that, whatever being a loser is. And even in scenarios when there's like a lot around me that I cannot control, I can't stand like not moving forward productively. And even in environments where it's like I might not love the environment around me, it's like I still want to, it sounds like I'm just like talking about how great I am. My work ethic is great. It needs work. It needs development just like everybody else's. But there are just times where I see others that aren't as motivated or motivated for different reasons or want to be motivated for different reasons. And I don't feel like there's a lot of motivation for me, but I like to keep hammering away at something. Even if there's not a lot of upside on the other side. Like if this is the task I was set out to do, I really like to work at it. And part of that reason is because like I was in high school, I played on a soccer team and I loved it. I think maybe in all my years of high school, we won a single game. It's possible that we didn't win any games. And we still tried really hard. And every week was like this constant up and down of just bullshit of trying to get yourself amped up to just go out there and get your asses kicked again. And that stuck with me for a really long time. And it's not so much like, hey, I'm never going to be a loser again. Life sets you up and you're going to lose. It's going to happen. There's too much that goes on. You're going to have losses on the board. But I think it was more of, coming out of that, there was like a lesson of, hey, that was really unpleasant, but it didn't like stick with me and bring me down. I think it left me with the concept of, if you're involved in something and working towards something and you don't want to give up, even though it's going terribly, and you want to keep hammering at it, that's cool. That's okay. Especially if that's what you want to do. And I actually think that mentality has led to more wins than it has losses. But that's why it sticks with me. It was funny that note was on my paper today. I thought it was a cool thing. You should write yourself little notes every once in a while and you just stumble on them. Like those little fortune notes you used to pass to people in school. A lot of nostalgia today. Maybe it's the end of the year. Anyway, that's the 10th one. See you tomorrow.